As INFJs grow older, their view of life begins to shift. In the early years, many INFJs feel out of place. They often sense things others don't, care deeply about the world, and struggle to fit into fast-paced or shallow environments. This can lead them to question themselves and wonder why they feel different. But time teaches INFJs valuable lessons. With each new experience, they begin to understand themselves better. They start to see their unique qualities not as flaws but as strengths. They become more confident in their intuition and more protective of their energy. Life doesn't necessarily get easier, but their understanding of it deepens. The INFJ's journey isn't about becoming someone else. It's about becoming more of who they truly are. As they let go of outside expectations and begin listening to their inner voice, they start to find peace. They learn how to manage their emotions, where to invest their time, and what kind of people they want to keep close. This growth often happens quietly. INFJs reflect a lot. They notice patterns. They think deeply about what matters. And over time, they begin to form a life that reflects their values, not society's noise. In this video, we'll explore 6 key realizations that INFJs tend to make as they get older. These aren't just thoughts, they're turning points. Each one brings the INFJ closer to peace, purpose, and a deeper connection with who they truly are. Realization number 1. Their sensitivity is a strength, not a weakness. INFJs are born sensitive. They feel emotions deeply, sense energy in a room, and can often tell when something is wrong, even if no one says anything. When they're younger, this sensitivity might feel like a burden. They're told they're too emotional or too sensitive. People may not understand how much they feel or why small things affect them so strongly. This leads many INFJs to believe something is wrong with them. They try to hide their feelings or act tougher than they are. They may stay quiet when something hurts or avoid speaking up just to keep others comfortable. Over time, this can make them feel disconnected from who they really are. But as INFJs grow older, they begin to see this sensitivity in a new light. They realize that their ability to feel deeply is actually a gift. It allows them to connect with others on a meaningful level. They don't just hear what people say, they feel what people mean. This makes them caring friends, thoughtful partners, and powerful listeners. Their emotional awareness also helps them avoid danger. They can sense when someone isn't being honest, or when a situation doesn't feel right. Their sensitivity acts like an internal warning system that keeps them safe and grounded. As they age, INFJs start to protect this part of themselves instead of hiding it. They stop apologizing for caring too much. They stop feeling guilty for needing time to process their emotions. Instead, they learn to use their sensitivity as a tool. They also begin to set boundaries around it. They learn that not everyone deserves access to their emotional energy. They stop trying to fix people who only drain them. They become more selective about who they open up to and more intentional with their time and energy. Sensitivity is no longer something that holds them back. It becomes something that helps them guide others, build trust, and live a life with emotional depth. It becomes a strength. Over time, the INFJ learns that what once made them feel weak is actually the key to their wisdom. They feel deeply, and that depth becomes their quiet power. Realization number 2. They cannot save everyone. INFJs have a strong desire to help others. When they see someone in pain, they feel it too. Their instinct is to jump in, offer support, and try to fix the problem. They often believe that if they care enough or try hard enough, they can make things better. This makes INFJs incredibly compassionate, but it also makes them vulnerable. When they're young, they may give everything they have to help someone else. They take on emotional weight that doesn't belong to them. They stay in relationships where they're constantly trying to rescue the other person, and they ignore their own needs in the process. With time, this starts to take a toll. INFJs begin to notice that no matter how much they care, some people don't change. Some people don't want help. Some people take and take, but never give back. And slowly, the INFJ begins to feel exhausted, confused, and sometimes heartbroken. This realization doesn't happen all at once. It builds up after years of being the listener, the comforter, and the emotional safety net. One day, the INFJ looks around and sees that they've been pouring into everyone else, and no one's been pouring into them. That's when the change begins. The INFJ starts to understand that their job is not to fix other people. Their job is to care, support, and offer love, but not at the cost of their own well-being. They realize that saving someone isn't the same as supporting someone, and not everyone can or wants to be saved. They begin to say no more often. They begin to let people face their own struggles. They stop blaming themselves for other people's choices. And even though it's hard, they learn to walk away from situations that only drain them. This doesn't mean they become cold. They still care. They still want to help. But now, they help from a healthier place. They give when they have the energy. They support without losing themselves. And they focus on relationships where love goes both ways. This shift is powerful. It allows the INFJ to stay compassionate without being consumed. It's one of the hardest lessons to learn, but one of the most freeing. Realization number 3. Alone. Time is essential, not optional. When INFJs are younger, they often try to keep up with the world around them. They go to social events, stay connected with friends, and try to be available when others need them. At first, it may feel like the right thing to do, but after a while it becomes clear they're running on empty. INFJs are introverts, but they're also givers. They want to support people and be present in their lives. The problem is, this constant giving drains them fast. Social settings can be overstimulating, small talk can feel meaningless, and too much time around others leaves them mentally and emotionally tired. At a young age, INFJs might not fully understand why they feel so exhausted after a simple day out. They might think something's wrong with them. Why does everyone else seem fine? Why do I feel like I need to disappear for a week just to feel normal again? As they grow older, they find the answer. Alone time isn't just helpful, it's necessary. Solitude gives the INFJ space to recharge. It's how they process thoughts, emotions, and everything they've absorbed from the world. During quiet moments, they feel most like themselves. They reflect, dream, plan, and reconnect with their core values. Eventually, INFJs stop feeling guilty about needing this time. They stop apologizing for saying no to plans. They stop trying to explain why a weekend alone is more healing than a packed schedule. This realization changes everything. They begin to protect their time with care. They design their lives around peace, not pressure. And the more alone time they allow themselves, the more energy they have to give when it truly matters. They also become better at choosing who they spend time with. They value deep, meaningful connections, intentions, not just filling time. They no longer feel obligated to stay in draining friendships or say yes just to avoid conflict. In the end, alone time becomes sacred. It's where the INFJ finds clarity, calm, and strength. And once they realize this, they never go back to living any other way. Realization number 4. Authenticity matters more than approval. When INFJs are younger, they often want to be liked. They try to fit in, meet expectations, and avoid conflict. They adjust their words, their tone, and sometimes even their personality to make others feel comfortable. They care about harmony, and they think keeping others happy is the best way to achieve it. But this comes with a cost. Over time, the INFJ begins to feel fake. They smile when they don't mean it. They stay quiet when they have something to say. And they put aside their true thoughts and feelings just to avoid judgment. It starts small, but it grows into a painful pattern of self-betrayal. The turning point usually comes after enough disappointment. INFJs give their energy to people who don't appreciate it. They stay silent in situations where their voice mattered. And they start to feel a deep emptiness, a quiet knowing that they're not being true to themselves. That's when the realization begins. Approval is temporary, but authenticity lasts. INFJs start to let go of the need to be liked by everyone. They begin to speak up more, even when it's uncomfortable. They express their true opinions, set boundaries, and walk away from people who only accept a filtered version of them. It's not easy. Being authentic means some people won't understand them. Some might walk away. But INFJs learn that losing fake connections is better than living a fake life. They no longer want to blend in. They want to stand in truth. As they become more authentic, something surprising happens. The right people begin to appear. People who appreciate their honesty, depth, and sincerity. Real relationships form. Real peace follows. Authenticity doesn't mean INFJs stop caring. It means they care more. About truth, about alignment, and about being real. They no longer trade their identity for approval. They choose to live as who they truly are. And once they make that choice, they gain something far better than approval. They gain freedom. Realization number 5. Their intuition is a reliable guide. INFJs are known for their strong intuition. They can often sense things before they happen, feel the emotions behind someone's words, or understand the deeper meaning of a situation. But when they're young, they don't always trust it. They might second-guess their instincts, especially if others doubt or dismiss them. This is frustrating. INFJs notice red flags that others miss. They feel uneasy when something's wrong, even if they can't explain why. But if they speak up and get told they're imagining things or being too sensitive, they begin to doubt themselves. They push down their instincts in favor of logic or outside opinions. Over time, this creates inner conflict. Their mind says one thing, their gut says another, and when they ignore their intuition, they often end up in situations that confirm their original feeling was right all along. As INFJs grow older, they start to look back on these moments. They remember when they knew something but didn't act on it. And slowly, they begin to realize that their intuition has been guiding them the whole time. It just needed to be trusted. This realization changes how they live. Instead of asking others what to do, they begin listening to their inner voice. They pay more attention to what feels right. They no longer need full proof to follow a feeling. They begin to trust themselves more than the noise around them. It also helps them make better choices. They recognize toxic patterns sooner. They avoid relationships or environments that drain them. They stop explaining away their discomfort. And they start acting with quiet confidence, even if no one else understands why. Trusting their intuition also brings peace. INFJs stop overthinking every decision. They know that even if they can't explain something, their inner compass is pointing them in the right direction. And that trust builds strength. With age, INFJs learn that intuition isn't something to hide or fear. It's a gift. It's their deepest form of wisdom. And once they embrace it fully, life begins to unfold in a way that feels more natural, more aligned, and more free. Realization number 6. Growth comes from embracing imperfection. INFJs often set high standards for themselves, for others, and for life in general. They want to do things well, be kind, and live with purpose. But when they're younger, this drive can easily turn into perfectionism. They feel like they must always get things right, say the right thing, and never let anyone down. When things go wrong, INFJs tend to blame themselves. They replay situations in their head, wondering what they could have done better. They might feel ashamed of small mistakes or worry that one failure defines who they are. It's a heavy burden, and it often comes from a deep fear of not being enough. But as they grow older, INFJs start to see this pattern more clearly. They realize that perfection is not only impossible, it's also unnecessary. They learn that mistakes are not proof of failure, but part of the process of learning and becoming wiser. This realization doesn't come easily. It usually shows up after times of burnout, disappointment, or deep self-reflection. The INFJ starts to notice that the more they chase perfection, the more disconnected they feel from themselves. And that's when they begin to let go. They start embracing the truth that being human means being imperfect. That flaws don't make them less valuable, they make them real. And that growth happens not in the perfect moments, but in the messy, uncomfortable ones. With this shift, INFJs become more forgiving of themselves. They stop expecting every word, action, or plan to be perfect. They begin to see their efforts, not just their outcomes, and they start treating themselves with the same compassion they offer others. This also helps their relationships. When they accept their own imperfections, they become more open to accepting others as they are. They stop trying to fix people and instead focus on understanding and connection. Letting go of perfection allows the INFJ to grow in a more authentic way. They start trying new things, even if they might fail. They express themselves more honestly, and they begin to enjoy life with more freedom and less fear. In the end, they realize that their worth was never about getting everything right. It was always about showing up, learning, and staying true to their heart. The INFJ path is quiet, deep, and full of reflection. As they move through life, INFJs come to understand themselves in ways that few others do. They face struggles with sensitivity, boundaries, and self-doubt. But through those struggles, They gain powerful insights that guide them forward. With time, INFJs stop apologizing for who they are. They begin to embrace their depth instead of hiding it. They stop seeking approval and start living with authenticity. They let go of trying to save everyone and instead protect their energy for the people and causes that truly matter. They learn that their intuition isn't a weakness, it's one of their greatest strengths. And they discover that imperfection isn't something to be ashamed of. It's part of being real, part of being alive. Each realization adds a layer of wisdom. Each step brings them closer to a life that feels true, peaceful, and aligned. And the more they live from this place of clarity, the more they inspire others to do the same. If you're an INFJ, or you know someone who is, remember this: your journey isn't about becoming someone new. It's about becoming more of who you already are. That journey might be quiet, but it's powerful. And with every year, you're getting closer to the kind of life you were meant to live.